Oh, it's working. Brilliant. Maria's here. Hello, everyone. There's not any people here yet. We're 10 seconds in. Good Tuesday, not Tuesday, is it? It's Saturday. I just had some sashimi, which was bloody brilliant, I might add. Oh, people are messaging me now. Brilliant. Oh, Jessica's here as well. Hello, hun. What's happening? Yeah, what is today? I haven't done one of these in so long. I can't remember how to do it. Is the connection okay? Is the lighting okay? That's annoying, I know, but if I turn that off, it'll be dark. So yeah, I can't really remember what you're meant to do on these live streams. If you're a person watching this later, where do I look up there? Don't I can't look up there. I look at the screen. If you're watching this later, this is not a regular video. It's a live stream. I always have to explain that every time. Oh, good. The connection is okay. Brilliant. Yes, and it's my last live stream ever. Well, probably not ever. Maybe in the future if I reboot in 2024, I might return. Let's see if some people join. Oh, some people are here. Brilliant. So yes, Jessica, Maria. I'm not expecting many people to turn up because the algorithm doesn't work when you go to new countries. So Mexico viewers, where are they? They've vanished into the mists of time, as always. Yes. So people are coming now. Brilliant. It always takes about a minute. What are you doing on this Saturday night? Or for Maria and Jessica, it's actually Saturday afternoon. I just had sashimi. It was wonderful. I should have got alcohol, shouldn't I? Brilliant. Yes. So what was I going to say? So it's the last one. I've got 3 more videos left to upload. I haven't actually filmed them yet, but whatever. Yeah, they'll be coming over the next couple of weeks. They're all planned. There might actually be an extra one on top of that. We'll see what happens. But then that'll be it until God knows when. I have got some plans for the future, by the way, which is what I've been doing since I've been where I am now, which is Sofia, Bulgaria. I forgot to tell you. So I'll be revealing some of that soon. Not a damn thing. I messaged Finn to jump on. Yeah, where's Finn gone? I haven't heard from him in ages. Although it's probably very early morning in New Zealand right now, isn't it? Yes, lovely. So what did you think of London and trauma? So I left London about 3 weeks ago. So obviously YouTube is not in real time. And I've been in Sofia, Bulgaria since then. It was thoroughly bizarre to go back to my hometown and also city. Unexpectedly, dramatically emotional, which was bizarre. Yes. Is other people are joining now? If you're joining, put your thing in the chat. Tell me where you're from. It's 7 o'clock in the morning in New Zealand. Yes, he's probably drunk because it'll be Sunday morning. Dawn, hello, Han. How are you doing? Are you in Paris now? Yes. What's be intelligent mean? Oh, is that what's in the? Oh, I didn't realise that would be on the live chat as well. That's aimed at stupid people. Yes, I know where you are, Jessica. Oh, you're in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. 1 a.m. Bloody hell. I was there years ago. 2017. I can't remember. Oh, for the others, Han. Yes. Good old Texas. Remember El Paso? That was fun, wasn't it? I might go back there at some point. Yes. So, what was I going to say? Are there any things that anyone wants to ask about Mexico, Serbia, anything else from the last 6 years? I had sashimi as per Japan back in the day. I didn't have it because of that. I was just hungry. Yes, most are intelligent, not just me. True. Yeah, you do get some dumbasses in the YouTube comments, unfortunately. Gio Garcia, hello. I remember you. I haven't seen you for ages. Where have you been? Where are you from again? I can't remember. I'm assuming Mexico with the surname. Dawn is in a cafe in Paris. Lovely. Vegas. Yes, I remember. Good old Vegas. Paris. Is anything happening for Christmas with Christmas markets, I was looking at Paris earlier because I'm thinking of going to somewhere else in Europe in a couple of weeks, which might coincide with my final video in terms of Christmas markets. But I've never heard much about Paris and Christmas markets. It's normally Germany and Austria and stuff in it. A few people messaged me earlier from Instagram about Zagreb, Croatia, but even though it's not a very long distance, flights from Sofia to Zagreb. I started watching it in Cambodia, yes, or may have been Japan. It was 2019. Yeah, because I went back to Japan in 2019, probably in between one of the many Mexico things. Navidad Posadas. Chris, what does Posadas? Oh, right, gotcha. I get it now. I'm a bit slow. Feliz Navidad. I haven't sung that in ages. New York and Chicago in Christmas. It's a bit far, though, from Bulgaria. So I'm probably not going to do that. Yes, I'm going to be stuck in the great country of Europe for a little bit longer. That's a private joke. Yes. Albania has Christmas markets. It's not Boss. Are you from Liverpool? Call the busies. But it's decent. Yeah, Albania, I've never really... Nothing's really ever really struck me about Albania or caused me to want to go there. The same with Turkey. I get a lot of questions about Turkey. Nothing really interests me about Turkey. Yes, okay, you'll be in Guadalajara, then Guadacrapo. Brilliant, good choice. What's the tattoo on your neck? Oh, Ellis, how's it going, man? Where are you now? Are you still in Georgia? If anyone doesn't know, Ellis does a lot of videos in the Balkans and isn't one of these sexy Insta babes that does all them bullshit bollocks for views, you know. Real travel, brilliant. Also went to Ujice in Serbia and did that cross thing before I did. Yes, what was I saying? The tattoo on the neck. It's cheetah scratches, which is related to why I started traveling in the first place. Because I did volunteering with cheetahs in South Africa in 2015, and also I'm basically a cat in terms of my behaviour, a bit of a wanker. Yes, I got that in Mexico. It's a bit dramatic, but I like it. What was I going to say? Did you say you're from? You get a lot of Scouser. Oh, you're a Yank. I've never heard a Yank say boss before. That's boss. That's boss. That is. Excuse the Scouse accent. Right. Dawn is talking about Paris. Is anyone else going to anywhere in Europe for Christmas markets? Do you have any recommendations for Christmas markets if you've been to ones in Europe before? I've been to one in Berlin years ago and Tallinn, Estonia, a few years ago, but that was only very briefly and it was like a tiny one. So they start up in a couple of weeks. There are a few in Paris. I haven't been to any in Germany, but the markets in Paris are nice if you're feeling festive. I never feel festive, but I'm hoping this year I do. Yes, Germany or Austria are probably options. Yes. Boss is from the 80s here in the States. No way. I never knew that. That's classic Liverpudlian. Me and Jessica and I discuss these things now and again about language, interesting things. Boss, that's boss. Yes, Toulouse is very nice at Christmas. Where's Toulouse? Is that down the south? I know people in near Nice. Yes, we were wondering what it was. Can never see it properly. Yes, I'd have to turn my head around like that all the time. Yes, I do get some weird looks, especially when I was in Serbia, because, you know, as I said in that video, sometimes people looking even slightly different in Serbia can result in staring. Not so much in Bulgaria, actually. Ellis, I'm in Ovčar Kupel, or wherever it's called. As I said in that comment once, yeah, very residential area of Sofia. It kind of reminds me of like Greater London, you know, with single mums walking around with buggies and stuff and going to the supermarket and everyone smoking outside the supermarket that work there. Like, you know, you get outside Tesco's, which I used to do. Yes. Everyone is going to Christmas markets, but what are Christmas markets like in the UK? I've never been to one. I know there's one in Bath. Kassel, Germany. I don't know where that is. If it's a cheap flight, then brilliant. I'm not recommending Albania in terms of Christmas market, but it's a pretty sweet place. Safest houses, beer and skittles all around. Yeah. I think, Ellis, have you been to Albania? I can't remember. That seems like your sort of place. Yeah. Oh, look who's turned up. Alejandro Barras. He is way back from the Tepito days of Tepito in Mexico, early 2019, I think. That's where that was coined, badass. And it kind of continued. Sofia is my daughter's name. Yes, looking forward to my Europe trip. Did you mention about coming to Europe? I can't remember. Where are you going in Europe? What does everyone think about Americans who think Europe is a country? You see, it's going to come again at Christmas when you see Americans coming to Europe, the great country of Europe, for Christmas markets. But why don't they mention the actual country they're in? GCOE, exactly, great country of Europe. We took a photo of someone's larder outside a block of flats, and as somebody comes screaming us to go back home, classic. That happened to me in Serbia. I think it was in Jagodina. I was shouted at that no, it was Nova Varoš. That was it. I was shouted at that entire day, like no matter what I did. I think there was a bit in that video where I actually said, I don't want to film this car. And it was a car. I think it was a larder. Classic. You get that a lot in this part of the world, don't you? Fortunately, I guess we can pass for a local. We don't look drastically different, so normally it's right. From California, started following you after I saw a video of you in loving Torreon, the best place. That still remains to be the only place that I have such an emotional connection as a home, because you go to all these places and yes, Belgrade can feel like a home, but in Torreon, there's like a community connection, it's just its own little bubble. I would love to go back there. That's probably one place I would, if I could, if it was easy to get residency in Mexico, I would move to Torreon. I'm over exaggerating my yes. Dawn is going to check out some markets in Brussels and Lille. I was looking at Brussels earlier when I was in Starbucks, actually. It looks quite good. And it did say that it was like one of the best, which I was quite surprised with, because normally Brussels, we think like it's boring. I've never been, I've been to the airport in Brussels. I've never been in Brussels, what will be the best only way to contact you? Probably Instagram. Yeah, because a lot of people always ask. I know Americans do use Facebook a lot. I can't find the @ thing on my keyboard because it's a Serbian keyboard. Now it says my connection is unstable. Brilliant. Is it still working? That is the question. I don't know. I think it's back now. Sorry if the connection just went. That's the first time that's ever happened. Brilliant. What was I going to say? I completely forgot what I was talking about. Brilliant. Yeah, Instagram. Although once I upload my final video, I'm basically going to be active for a couple of weeks, replying to comments and stuff, and then I'll probably disappear from that Instagram for a while. So the first week in Sofia, I did put together a lot of plans for the future and stuff, but I will reveal all that at some point. It's not that exciting, but there is going to be a second channel. I know it's hilarious, but it's very much different from the regular one, and it will only be a hobby thing. I think I mentioned that in a video. Right, more people have joined. So where are you from? If you have just joined, put yourself in the comments. Hi, Dave. By the way, I completely forgot about you. Love you for all the nice things you speak of my birthplace. A lot of times with YouTube, people do talk shit just to get views, but honestly, I can't do it anymore. Torreon is ultimate. I love it there. I would love to just go to 7-Eleven again and talk to the lady in the shop. And I would be practicing my Spanish with her, and she wanted to practice her English. And it was always really annoying because I was like, no, I want to practice my Spanish. But, you know, it was all good fun. Right, what's happening in this chat thing? North of the tortilla line, yes, the dreaded tortilla line. That is Torreon, Durango, etc. I want to go back to Sonora. Speaking of Mexico, let's talk about Mexico for 5 minutes. Sonora is absolutely the estado I want to go back to because it was absolute top tier. And obviously I only went to a small part of it, Obregon, San Carlos. Oh my God, I want to go back there. You know what? I would love to stay in Guaymas. And then if I want to go to San Carlos, I can just go there on the bus because it's only 12 pesos. Yeah, Mexico. Always got to appreciate your Northern Mexico series too. It's what inspired us to spend most of our time in Mexico up there. Yes, they also went to Durango, right? And did you go to Culiacan? That's where I had bronchitis for 3 months and could barely speak. Yeah, but Sonora was absolutely elite. Completely like underrated. Try out Veliko Tarnovo in Bulgaria. I don't know what accent that was. I might do. Veliko means big, right? Is it or is it green? I can never remember from Serbian. I think it's big, isn't it? Dawn likes Brussels. I think it's a bit underrated. It's not the most amazing place, but it gets a bad reputation that isn't deserved, in my opinion. They have the best chocolate in the world. Oh my God. Don't say that to a Mexican. Because there's Costanzo chocolates in San Luis. Of course, everything in Mexico is the best and everything comes from Mexico, in case anyone had any doubt. I'm joking. But some people would say Switzerland have the best chocolate in the world, right? I've never been to Switzerland either. Brilliant. Yes. So Bulgaria, honestly, I'm not. My aim isn't travel in Bulgaria. I'm not doing a series like in Serbia or Mexico. I'm just doing a couple of videos, 3 probably, and then disappearing. And then my last one. I'll come on to my last video in a bit. You will get the first scoop. What was I going to say? Chocolate, Switzerland, Bulgaria. Yeah, so I'm not going to travel much in Bulgaria. There is one I'm going next week to a different town to visit something. Let's say it's connected to Brutalist, as always. And it's an icon. Yes. Travel Bug, how's it going? You're in Vietnam, right? Can I ask why you were scared to be back home in the UK? A lot of people have asked that. I wasn't necessarily scared. It was more apprehension because I just hate it there with a passion. There was a couple of interesting comments like from people from Serbia who were saying that it's completely the opposite, in that they would always love going back to their home country and are very proud of it. That's why I never understood the whole thing in Mexico with the national pride thing, because I'm not proud of being from the UK. As I said to someone the other day, it's a third world country with a first world cost of living. Hence, I'm not there. Yeah. But a lot of it was to do with, as Gen Zs say, and Jessica's going to laugh, trauma, which I alluded to in those videos. And it was like, there was actually a lot in the Felton one, which I cut out, like deleted scenes, because I really went to town on some occasions. And I did go into a bit more detail. But yeah, it was just mainly because of that and sort of bad memories and unresolved issues from the past, less so about London itself. I've got to catch up with the chat. Brilliant. Yes, you can roll the R's. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. In Bulgarian, it does exist, but it's not as strong as in Mexican, Spanish. Yes, the people of Durango were incredibly warm. Yes, they're bloody brilliant. Because it's so it is underrated and it's seen as dangerous, the Golden Triangle or whatever it was. Someone said to me in a comment the other day about be careful with my drone because the cartels might kill me. Me and the cartels are like that. Like, it's not going to be a problem. Alejandro, was it Torreon where you broke your pelvis? No, that was that was Wymus. When I fell out, well, I got out of the shower, and it wasn't actually in the bathroom. It was the whole Airbnb was these stupid, slippery marble tiles that you get everywhere in Mexico. Walked out of the bathroom, went flying, landed right on my coccyx, and disaster. Then I went and filmed that video. I think it was the same day. So I literally with a broken pelvis. It obviously wasn't broken, but it was close to it. Yeah, the classic pelvis incident. There's always something in Mexico, isn't there? Bronchitis, pelvis. Who needs them? Costanza's is okay, but you can't touch chocolates from. What do you mean you can't touch them from Europe? Costanza's, honestly, they're all right. They do melt really quickly in your hand, though. Maybe it's because of the heat. I don't know. Yes, the Mexico Pride is something we have to discuss later, but there is actual research about it. Oh, that's interesting. I will look forward to that conversation. Yes, so as I said about the Pride thing, whatever country you're from, are you proud of being from that country? Ellis, are you proud of being from the UK? Because I'm not, especially in the last few years. You know, it's one reason I left in the first place. I saw all this coming. And as always, everything I predicted has come true. Brilliant. I love going to England, just can't afford it much. Yeah, that was something, actually. So everyone's talking about cost of living crisis. I was there for 2 days. I dread to think how much money I spent. In the end, I just said, screw it. I'm just going to spend whatever. But, you know, there were people in pubs, because I was staying in a pub above a pub, and it was in Battersea, so it was going to be quite busy. It's not a poor area, but you know, people were constantly drinking. People walking the street smoking their £12 packet of fags. I forgot to buy some in duty free in Belgrade. I was well pissed off because I had to buy fags in Co-op for 12 quid. Yeah, but it's got its good points, and definitely, as I said in that London video, if you're a foreigner going to London for the first time, of course it's going to be bloody brilliant. It's like me going to Mexico City, because there's just so much. You could spend a million years in London and still not see everything. You missed it. I haven't had that one for a while. Oh God, there's something in Espanol. Viviana, hang on. Something about food. Your cat's food. Oh my God, is a difficult creature. Something about cats. Okay, could someone translate? I haven't got time. Something about sleeping. Okay, Jessica, please translate, or Viviana, because I can't do Spanish under pressure. I am from Northern Ireland. Trauma, yes. You know what? My dad, he was a car mechanic, and during the 70s and 80s, he had to sleep with a knife under his pillow because he used to fix army vehicles, and you know, the whole thing with car bombs back then. Yes, that was fun. And that's why there aren't any bins in central London, because of bin bombs. Wonderful. Some places of Sinaloa, they don't use corn tortillas, only flour tortillas. See? Absolutamente. The only thing is the battle of wars between taking leadership, Sinaloa. Yes. So in terms of cartels, for a minute there, I thought you were talking about Spanish and French history there. Yes. I think, in those states, I didn't experience any issues, didn't witness anything at all. But as I probably said back then, as a foreigner, it doesn't affect you. You know, I'm not a local that's involved in drug crime. Can I say the word drugs on YouTube? Probably not. So I haven't. So Ellis, did you experience any issues in northern Mexico, or did you feel uncomfortable in any way? Because I didn't. It was quite the opposite, actually. I felt more uncomfortable in areas of Mexico City that were full of expat gringos, because if I was a heroin addict, I'm really itchy for some reason. I would go to Condesa and Roma to rob the Americans. I wouldn't go to Sonora I know it's a different safety thing, but sorry, I'm getting on my soapbox. Matrix, good evening. How is it in Bulgaria comparison with Serbia? That's an amazing question, because honestly, so I've been in Bulgaria for 3 weeks, only in Sofia. Coming to Bulgaria from Serbia, because it's only over the border, Niš is only 3 hours away on the bus. I thought there would be closer similarities, but honestly, I feel like Bulgaria has more similarities to somewhere like, at least Sofia has more similarities to cities like Kiev or Minsk in terms of architecture, people. Serbia is just something a little bit different. Maybe it's because of the time I spent there, but it's quite unique, I feel, in the Balkans. And, I've only been in Bulgaria for less than 3 weeks, so I'm sure Bulgaria is great. But honestly, so far, I haven't got the same connection with Bulgaria that I had with Serbia. I had that instantly when I got to Belgrade. Yeah. But we'll see what happens. I may be here for a little bit of time. I might not be, which ties in with my final episode thing. Am I going to move to Poland, etc.? Honestly, I still don't know. So it's not like The Crown. I've kind of planned the ending. Who's seen The Crown, the new season? I've watched every episode apart from the last one. Obviously, I know what happens because I was alive during it. Pizzagate, yeah, classic from 2021. Ciudad Cuauhtémoc. When are you going to Ujice? I don't know. Someone else asked me that question the other week. I've kind of got no say, but I might be going back to Serbia post YouTube because now I have 2 passports. I don't have to worry about the whole 90 days in 180 day thing because I've done about 87 days on my Polish passport. So effectively I can re-enter on my British passport. I don't know. We'll see if that works out. Anyone with 2 passports, let me know if that's the thing because I'm still a rookie with all that. But Ujice, would I go back there? I think I would go back for a short visit, but honestly, I probably wouldn't go back to Ujice now for a longer period. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I like Ujice. There are just some things that make me a little bit uncomfortable in Ujice, which I touched on in that video. I am going to do a blog post, by the way, going into more detail about the whole Western ideologies thing that I touched on in that Serbia review video, because there's a lot more to mention that I can't really talk about on YouTube because it will get blocked because, YouTube, owned by Google, mention anything that isn't along the lines of those Western ideologies, the video gets blocked, demonetized, and so on. It's happened before. Any video when I mentioned the Vietnam War, Korean War, the atomic bombs in Japan, blocked, video's gone. I think they're still there, but in certain countries you can't see them. So anyway, yeah, Ujice, I don't know, probably not. Could you give us a lift, Dave? Which Dave? I'm not Dave. I'm David. Okay. Telling the truth, I can't stand the UK. Neither can I. Hate it. Would never go back there. You'll get it. Maria's not proud of being from the US. Brilliant, hun. We shouldn't have to have national pride just because other people do. But equally, I feel like with Mexico, yes, there's national pride, but also there's national victimhood sometimes. Especially not from everyone, but some people, when they talk about Europe versus Mexico, there's that thing about, that people from Europe are seen as superior because they were colonists and so on. But that's a bigger topic. I'm not proud of being from USA. I mean, I love it, but get easily embarrassed by bad acting Americans abroad. Exactly the same with Brits. They're probably worse than Americans abroad, to be honest. Hang on. Northwestern Yorkshire is one of the best parts. You know what? I've never been to Yorkshire. I'm a classic Londoner. Like, the north is Watford. I have been to Birmingham. I did go to Liverpool Airport. That was about it. people only care about themselves. I mean, compared to being in Latin America. Yeah, that's a good point. People do care about themselves in England. You get more of a community spirit in Mexico or Latin America in general. You know, I didn't speak to my neighbor for eight years that I lived next to her. Okay, Viviana's cat is very difficult. It only eats Purina. I thought it was that. I remember that brand from Mexico. Will you get a cat? Well, if you saw on Instagram today, I did have a cat this morning. It was just a random stray cat that occasionally comes in for some reason. But I have thought about that a lot. But this ties into my final video. I'm going to come on to that now. Because having a cat would mean that I would have to sit still in one place. And I know I've talked about that, about Poland, in which case I could get a cat. But how can I do this without spoiling it at the end? There was a video in Serbia, the Chachak one, at the end of that, and I'm actually going to use that bit in the final video again, about familiarity and unfamiliarity. So you might think that familiarity for me is should be being in one place with a cat, but it's the opposite. Familiarity is jumping from place to place every few months. That is why I kind of haven't decided on the ending yet, if you know what I mean. But I would love to get a cat, but obviously it's a lifetime commitment. Well, not lifetime, like the next 10 years or whatever. I don't know if I can do that yet. I'm like Chandler in Friends, no commitment. What about your neck? Has it been forever, or did someone try to hang you in Mexico? How's people? Why are people asking about the tattoo all of a sudden? It's cheetah scratches. Like, someone did ask me if I'd actually been attacked by a lion or something. Like, why would it leave the spots? So it's meant to be the scratches, but underneath it's like I'm a cat, because basically I am. Cigarettes in Cambodia, about $1 a pack. They're about 2 here, I think. I hope you're staying away from Goldschlager. What's that about? Who did I talk about Goldschlager with? Is it someone I know from years ago? Because I used to drink Goldschlager. Okay, we've got more about the cat. I will gladly have the cat. Sí. Sin problema. Oh, yes. So Ellis was sad when he walked through Roma Norte and saw what it's turned into. I can never go there. The last time I was in Mexico City, I did end up staying there, but that's only because, it was only for a few days, because my previous Airbnb host had moved apartment, and she offered me a good deal. So I thought, I'm going to take one for the team and just go to Roma for a few days. And it was all right. But, oh my God, the expat dogs. Like, you get expats, you also get expat dogs, the preened and pampered, fluffy dogs that have a dog walker. There was even like someone walking about 30 dogs, all expat dogs, you know. Like if like them versus a Mexi dog, just one of them wouldn't stand a chance. It would be dead. And it does annoy me. There was something on Instagram yesterday, you know, the colchones thing. Someone did it in English, so it was like, we're buying mattresses, refrigerators. It's classic, but you never know. It might end up like that. I hope it doesn't. Like, if I could shout from the rooftops, if someone wants to go to Mexico, the only way to do it is by learning Spanish, living in an area with Mexicans, supporting local businesses, go to places which aren't known for tourism, and be Mexican, quite simply. Not be this white foreigner, stereotypical cliche expat gringo going to a Pilates appointment in Condesa. Like fair enough. If some people want to do that, that's great. Not for me, as you know by now. Finn turns up, brilliant. He just woke up, 7 a.m. Classic. Serbia gave us the same feeling, mate, compared to other Balkan countries. Serbia was just a good vibe all round. Yes, there's something about Serbia that I can't put my finger on. That's why I keep going back. There's just something about it. No matter where you go, it's got this different feel. and Serbs are probably the most straight talking people, even more than I am, in the world. Just don't give a shit. Like, I cannot deal with this fake politeness. And I hope this email finds you well. I don't give a shit how the email found you. I want an answer now. And that's very much the Serb mentality as well. I'm going a bit cockney now. What's going on? Right, Finn, have you been out drinking or something? Because it is Sunday morning. Right, Sen says, which city in Mexico is the most beautiful to... Oh, there's another one about friendliest. Okay, all right, the friendliest first, definitely Torreon. As I mentioned earlier about that city, I've never felt more at home anywhere, and you're involved as a foreigner but treated like a local. I remember doing that. I had to get up on a stage and speak to people in Spanish with a microphone. It was a classic. But, you know, and I still follow these two girls, and they're only like 12 and 9, and I'm not a weirdo. But I met them at that event thing. They were on The Voice Mexico, Gabby and Danny, if anyone knows of them. And they're always doing these like TV show appearances now. And it's just really cool. And there are two young girls from a city like Torreon that is talked about like crap that are doing something like that and getting out there. I met their mum as well. Lovely. And the beautiful city, beautiful is in the eye of the beholder or whatever. I don't know. That's a difficult question. Because beautiful for me is a dodgy street in Normex with a decomposing dog next to a bin. Whereas for other people, beauty is Guanajuato or San Miguel. San Miguel, honestly, I don't understand what the fascination is with that place, because it's nothing special in terms of the architecture and stuff. There's better architecture in Mexico than in San Miguel. I don't know. I might have to think about that one. Beautiful Mexico. I really don't know. Real de Catorce, or some random Pueblo Mágico like that, probably. Where's another one that I went to? Oh no, Mapimi wasn't very pretty, to be honest with you. The hill thing was good, the mountain, India. Nombre de Dios, that's a classic thing with Pueblo Mágico, because the central square bit was, you know, as you would expect. But the rest of it was a dump. Clearly the investment has not spread from the central area. Jerez de Garcia Salinas, top tier elite. Zacatecas will always be up there. That is iconic, that city, especially in the evening when you have the tamborazo and everything. Yeah, Zacatecas or Jerez, probably. Okay, we got them in the end. Have you been to Vietnam? Yes, in 2017, but it was only very briefly. I was in Ho Chi Minh, Hanoi, and Da Nang, I think. Yeah, I did that thing crawling through the tunnels, Coochie tunnels, and I shot a AK-47, as you do. Those were like years ago, like first videos, I think. Come back if you want to be cold and skinned. I still don't know who this person is. Did we go out clubbing or something back in the day? It's a picture of a dog. What do you think about Ireland? Could you live there for a long time? No, it's too expensive. I've never been to Ireland either. Yeah, it's a bit like Turkey. I've never had an interest going there. Yeah, too expensive, Ireland. Anywhere west, well, pretty much anywhere in Europe now is just too expensive. Even Serbia, like Belgrade's ridiculous now. Hungary, no chance. Like Budapest would be an option back in the day, but at least talking about Airbnbs, I mean, Poland as well is crazy expensive now. All these sexy Insta babes saying, "Oh, Poland's the cheapest." No, it's not. Unless you're going to rent somewhere long term there, which will probably be a studio without a bed. Then it's expensive, which is one reason Poland may not happen, because I want a bed. Right. So the Mexico thing, it has to do with individualistic and I can't say those words, cultural traits. It's ingrained into us culturally to be what we are in that aspect. Oh, okay. I'm sure you'll fill me in later. There is more than 50,000 Croats in Ireland. Oh, is there? People say it's easier to get simpler jobs. The problem is high rents. Yes, that is the problem. I refuse to spend 70% of my income on rent when I can not do that in other countries. This place in Sofia is about £250 a month. No bills. Yes, that's why this lifestyle is possible. If I was in the UK, I'd be spending over £1,000. I don't even earn that much. I did a whole video about my tattoo, did I? I don't remember that. Hector says hi, brilliant. Finn is hungover. What a shock. Buenas tardes, Brett. Yes, Alejandro, I really like Jerez to the point I went back there twice. I was meant to go back a third time. Why didn't I go? Oh, I think because it was being blown up by the cartels or something, as if that's going to be a problem. But yeah, I just didn't have time. I went to Guadalupe instead. When I did the dog chase scene, that has to be my favorite thing of the year. The Zacatecas dog chase scene, Jurassic World inspired. Morelia has gorgeous areas. Yeah, that's an area of Mexico I've never been to. I've never been to Michoacan. Everyone was always about Dia de Muertos, go to Pátzcuaro or whatever it is. It just seemed a bit basic bitch for me. I'd rather go to Cuernavaca and go to the desfile there. Oh, someone's writing something in Serbian. My Serbian is not good. I can understand one word in that. Brilliant. Oh, hang on. Croatian, yes. Well, I guess it's the same language pretty much, isn't it? You should come to Croatia. There are quite affordable apartments for rent if you avoid the centres of big cities. You know what? I've looked at Croatia on multiple occasions over the years. In terms of Airbnb, there really is minimal available in Zagreb anyway. I haven't looked anywhere else in the country, to be honest. I'm not keen on beaches, as you can probably get. You never know. I don't know. Now that I've got a EU passport, it opens up a lot of opportunities, you know. Zacatecas and Durango. Yes, Durango is elite. A friend of mine who I actually met through YouTube, but we bizarrely bumped into each other in Los Mochis last year. He was in Durango last week and he had the, what was it called? The alacranes, scorpion. It was equally as disgusting as when I had it, apparently. Jane, hello, hun. Brutalist queen. Is Slovakia an option for you? I'm going in March. Brilliant. I've never been to Slovakia, but looking at Bratislava, it's a bit like with Budapest. The cost of Airbnbs have gone through the roof. I don't know if there's another option. That is a big thing, isn't it? Like because of the Ukraine situation and also Russia situation. So a lot of my English students have moved from Russia. Countries like Georgia, Belize are now seeing incredible economic growth and rental prices have gone through the roof, which is one reason why I think to myself every day, maybe being in Europe right now isn't the right option. I don't want to go to South America. I think Brazil has scarred me for life. Although I went to South America years ago, but Latin America could be an option again, i.e. Mexico, but I wouldn't be filming. That'll be interesting to be in Mexico, not filming. Asia isn't really an option for me because of my English students being in Europe. I'd have to work at night. It's not going to happen. Yes, I'm going to our house in Torreon. I'll try to save some gorditas for you. Hope return one day. Yes, I'll definitely be back. I'll have those gorditas, although they might be moldy by then. We'll have to get Abuelita to make some new ones. Armando, I do miss Espanol. Like, it's really difficult in Bulgaria not speaking Bulgarian, and not that I I'm any good at Spanish, but at least I can have a conversation. It really makes a difference. You're making me miss Mexico again. I've been in North Vietnam for 3 months. It's so much nicer than Thailand and Malaysia, and even less expensive. You know what? I'm not a big fan of Thailand or Malaysia. I spent a lot of time in Kuala Lumpur, but it just wasn't for me. Thailand, it annoys me. I don't know what it is about Thailand. That's actually the first country I ever went to. Bangkok was the first city I went to when I was 19. I hadn't left the UK before then because, shockingly, I'm not rich and I wasn't born in Buckingham Palace like some people think. Okay, why won't it let me show that one? Hang on. Okay. Oh, bollocks. Pátzcuaro was a bit basic bitch, to be honest, but there's little dodgy towns nearby. Dodgy towns are what it's all about. Yes. Cuernavaca is one of my favorites. I loved it there. I wasn't even meant to go there. I was meant to go to Oaxaca for Dia de Muertos, but my Airbnb cancelled the day before, so I came up with a backup disaster location, and it was Cuernavaca. Dave's still trying to get Slovak citizenship. Hopefully it doesn't take so long as my Polish one. What about Ukraine? It must be interesting there, but I don't think it's expensive. Maybe Lviv or Odessa. I was in Odessa last year for 2 months over Christmas. I wasn't blown away, to be honest. It's kind of a little bit like Sofia. Like, yes, there's like great history and nice architecture, but it wasn't my thing, really. So to get into Ukraine now, obviously there are no flights. I would have to go to probably Lublin in Poland and go across the border on a train or bus to Lviv. And I do want to go there because one thing I discovered through doing the whole Polish citizenship thing was that my grandfather was born in a city about 60 kilometers south of Lviv in Ukraine when it was Poland. So there was a period in the 1920s when it was part of Poland before it was taken over annexed by the Soviets. So I'm kind of half Ukrainian as well. Brilliant. What was I going to say? Oh, why did Brazil scar you? Mate, that's a good question. I mean, I've always loved Brazil because I've been there twice before, years ago though, but I felt like this time it had drastically changed in terms of the state of things, perhaps connected to the government situation. I know there was recent election, right? But there were just many annoying things, like the fact that none of my bank cards worked. It was so frustrating. And in the end, I mean, one of them did work, but only at certain ATMs. And as a result, I was spending so much money on ATM fees. One reason I left. It sounds stupid, but these little annoying things do frustrate you. But Curitiba, I loved it there. I stayed at the best Airbnb. I didn't film any videos there, but it was good to get out of the city and actually be able to hear myself think. That's where my glasses broke and I had to stick them together with super glue. Classic. Ellis is off to Thailand and Southeast Asia soon, but I promise you we'll be far away from the backpacker wankers. Brilliant. And in the middle of nowhere. That sounds like you. Backpacker wankers. Is that even a thing now? Like, do people still be backpackers? Like, I never see them anywhere. I've stayed in a few hostels in the last year or so. There was one in Mexico. There was no one else there. And one recently in, where did I go recently? I can't even remember. It's completely gone. Oh, Belgrade. No backpackers. It was just a few Russian guys who were there because they left Russia. And this older guy I think he was from Malaysia. And that was it. No backpackers. You just don't get it anymore. Like the Australia, New Zealand backpackers, like when I was back in the day. Cuernavaca, isn't that what I said? What did I say? Did I say Cuernavaca or something? I can't remember. Cuernavaca. I remember a whole hoo-ha around that time when people were telling me both of them. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What was I going to say? Did you have to get the clot shot? What's that mean? Do you mean corona? If it is, yes, I got it in Odessa in Ukraine. Both of them. I still have the Ukrainian certificate thing. Not that it's any use now because it was a year ago. So I actually had COVID for a week recently. So hopefully I'm immune again. But you don't need it anymore to go anywhere. Do people still get vaccines? Like, I haven't heard anyone talk about it because it's not, unless they're going to get social media likes, people won't talk about that sort of thing. Thank you, Senzes. Just a little support, mate. Thanks, son. That'll be a Starbucks. Brilliant. Right. Adam, hello. How's it going? In this last month, can we request a little less of your culturally interesting and intellectual videos and a little more bouncing around bars, smashing beers and partying up with the locals? You could, but I don't drink because I'm an ex-drug addict, so I can't drink alcohol. It's simple as that. Plus, you can't film in bars because of copyrighted music and darkness. Also, people don't want to be on camera. I get that question a lot. Like, as soon as you put a camera anywhere near anyone, they put the thing in your face, hand in your face, they shout at you. Yeah, so that's why I always never point the camera at people, especially these days. Like, it's really like back in the day you could, but nowadays it's much more frowned upon. I've even had people say to me that they want me to pay them for being in the video, and I've had people actually stop me. There was once in Mexico, it was in Parral or whatever it's called. There was people walking down the street in the distance, and then they came up to me and said and asked me to actually stood there while I deleted the footage with them in. So you can't film people, unfortunately. My family is from a small town in Slovakia. I don't know if that was a joke, the one about smashing bars. Yes. Truthfully, we've had none of the jabs, and it luckily hasn't stopped us traveling anywhere yet, thank God. Yeah, the only place I needed it for was Brazil. That was it. And that was January this year. Everywhere else I went, didn't need it. And a lot of people, what was it? Like during 2020, 21 and that, people were always asking me, how are you still traveling if you need vaccines? Well, I didn't need a vaccine. Any country I went to didn't need one, except Brazil at that point. And a lot of places I didn't get. I think I did about 20 flights without even having a test, like a PCR antigen test. Yeah, classic. Meanwhile, New Zealand, they're still living in 2020, right, Finn? What was I going to say? I'm still confused by that comment. Culturally interesting and intellectual videos. They have been on another level recently. My brain's been working when I've been filming for some reason. Nick had 4 doses of COVID vaccine. Did you almost die like I did? Honestly, I'd rather have COVID than have the symptom or the side effects of the bloody vaccines again. What's it called again? Myocarditis, pericarditis. My heart stopped on regular occasions. Would be the first time. But I'm not going to do any more vaccines. They are a toxic, metallic substance. That's what it felt like anyway. Right, I'm going to go in 7 minutes. I have a friend in Madrid from Bulgaria. He thinks everything there is amazing, but recommends Plovdiv. Yeah, I can't bother to go anywhere, to be honest. Travel is done. I've got no interest in traveling anywhere. Rather than stay at home and occasionally see the stray cat that turns up. Wow, that's crazy that they said that to you. Do you not get that? Because I know you have people in your videos, but everywhere I go, it's like I'm going to get murdered if I even get someone in the background of a shot, especially if it's children. Yeah, which is what in one of the Serbia ones, I was doing that walking thing in Valjevo, and I walked past, there were all these kids in this playground thing, and I even specifically said, I'm going to get out of here because there are kids here and someone's going to shout at me for filming kids. Yeah. Brazil, when I got kidnapped in the favela, I mean, that was a bit of a unique situation, but I had to delete half the footage for that video because certain people were in it. Where else? Yeah, like Yagodina, like every 5 minutes I was like walked into, people shouting at me, putting their hand up like that every day. That's why filming is a nightmare. One of the reasons I'm not going to be doing it for much longer, because it's just pointless now. You can't, And then you get the comments, oh, why are there no people there? Well, there are, but I'm just not filming them because I haven't got their permission. Yeah, it's really frustrating. In the US, you can film anyone you want in a public space. Well, you can anywhere, but it doesn't mean people are still going to accept it. And the amount of times I've almost been punched in the face, I could write an essay about it. Especially in Mexico, that was the big one. Like younger people tend to be all right, but it's the older ones that will get a bit shitty. Yeah. And when I said this in a Serbia video, I think it was in Zlatibor, that would I want someone walking up to me with the camera? No, I'd probably punch them and throw them in that fountain thing I was at. So I can understand why people don't want to be on camera. It is a bit intrusive, whether or not it's legal or not. What about another Angel Island video in Fukuoka? I was actually speaking to Miyako earlier, who was in that video. I still speak to her every week. I would love to go back to Japan. It's just too expensive. I know you can go back to Japan now. I was actually looking at places in Osaka because that tends to be one of the cheaper cities. But, you know, I wouldn't be able to have a place like this. I would be living in a shoebox. And I'm not going to work in a hostel again for 3 months. I did a work away thing years ago. Where do you plan to celebrate Christmas and New Year? Probably here, although that might change. Depends how bored I get of Sofia. Yes. But YouTube will be done by then. I'll be long gone. So yeah, let me just do the comments and then the last video bit. Right. So come to New Zealand for a meat pie, double mince and cheese, Morrow bar. Jacinta Ardern will cook it for you personally, maybe lock you down at the same time. She can piss off. There's that guy I follow on Instagram, that crazy guy who you know the one I mean, who speaks out about the ridiculousness of the government. Would love to stay on, David, mate, but it's late here in Georgia. Yeah, see you later. Thanks for coming. Oh, and there's a place, where was that again? Bulgaria, with brutalist architecture. Yeah, so my penultimate video has got some brutalists in, which I'm filming next weekend. Alejandro is going to Italy and France for sure. We're thinking about England, but now having second thoughts. Yes, so would I. Need 2 or 3 other countries to visit. Any suggestions? Poland, Serbia, badass forever. Yes, I would always be more Eastern Europe, Southeastern, rather than Germany, Spain, France, Italy. Unless you haven't been to those Western countries before, I wouldn't bother. They're not that good. And just my preference, I prefer the Balkans in general. How many languages do you speak? Oh, God. How do you measure that anyway? Because one, fluently, just about English. But with Spanish and German, I can have a conversation because I studied German at school and college, although it was 20 years ago. With Serbian, yeah, my Serbian's not very good, but reading is fine. I can read the Cyrillic alphabet. Bulgarian, it's a bit more difficult than Serbian. And basic communication in about 90 languages, probably. Yeah, but Espanol is the one I'm the most comfortable with, despite having never studied Spanish in my life. It just comes from Mexico. Dios mío, abuelita, colchones, and so on. Nick, I wish you well in the future. Thank you. Matrix, can you post a short video at least once a month so we know you're alive and well? No. So I need a complete break from it to be a normal person that isn't using, as I said in that video, dark humor to mask my trauma. And I want to do other things. So there is another channel, which is a drone video channel. So those ones will be coming, but it's more of a hobby thing. I'll be writing blog posts on my website under the Tower of David thing. So so that will be coming like every week. I've got a plan to do blog posts every week. I'm doing a lot with teaching English because I've really neglected that for a long time because that is my main job. YouTube doesn't make that much money, which is why I'm not bothered about not making videos, because honestly I won't miss it. I can make more money from teaching. And there are some other things I'm planning to do as well. Although, to be honest, I might just spend 3 months doing the bare minimum, because after 6 years, I've always felt like I constantly have to be doing things, and it has an effect on you eventually. Yeah, but I enjoy flying drones. I enjoy writing. So those are good. Those are my creative outlets. But, you know, I said it before, 2 things might happen. Number one, I might absolutely love not making the regular style of it. I'm not swearing, am I? I might absolutely love not filming those videos anymore. And I might never come back again. Or definitely a year. I cannot do, I don't think it will be less than a year. And so maybe beginning of 2024, I might have a think and think, well, I miss doing that. I miss these crazy people in YouTube comments. I might start doing it again. And I might, you know, at that point, I might, you know, whether or not I move to Poland or wherever else in the EU, I might be living in a place for a long time, or I might be continuing to move about as I have been, which will be in the last video. But then I might come back. You never know. We'll see what happens. Jane, good question. Is the book going to be a definitely maybe? That's an Oasis album, isn't it? It has always been a definite, but I've always been reluctant to do it because so a lot of people always ask, is it about travel? No, it's nothing to do with travel. It's kind of like, if you think of The Crown season 5, the book will be The Crown season 1. It's like a prequel. And I'm purposely mentioning a lot of things in these last videos that are kind of foreshadowing the final video about unresolved trauma. That's one thing. And it will be a lot about that. So it might start off, I'm being inspired by The Crown. It might start off in the 90s. My parents might be main characters in the first season. Probably not. And it will go from there. And probably 2000 to 2016 will be the big main area. And the ending will be me leaving the UK in 2016. That's what I want to do, but it's going to be very in depth. And honestly, you know, with the whole trauma thing, you know, things happen in life that you can't access because there's that mental block there. And that's what it is. There are things that I've done that I don't remember, not out of choice, but out of how the brain works. So yeah, I want to do that. It's just finding the time to do it. And without YouTube, I'll be able to find the time to do that pretty much. Dave, how is italki? Absolutely crap. I haven't had I had a new person last week. Oh no, they came through my website because they already knew someone I already had. But italki's dead. So I'm doing one of the things I did earlier. I'm doing these vocabulary set things to see if that helps. And I've updated everything. I'm doing a new video next week from italki. Just to, you know, it's just completely like a tumbleweed. How about you? I'm relying on long-term people completely now. Some people who moved from Russia are starting to come back again now that they've moved to Georgia, mainly. But it's dead. So yeah, just lastly, the last video thing, and if there are any more questions, put them there. The last video, some things to reveal. So it will be in multiple time zones, time frames, and multiple countries. So let's just say there could be some flashbacks. And I have one of my props over there on my windowsill that I've already bought. But yeah, there'll be the first scene is absolutely shocking, which I need props for. I still need to do that bit. But yeah, multiple time frames. There will be a background character, which will be a location, probably Christmas markets. But it won't be about a location. For once, I will be the main character for the last one. And I mentioned this before. I have also pre-filmed sections in Mexico and Serbia, which are for the last video. That bit is going to be iconic. So I'm giving away too much. But the ending, let's just say it could end on a cliffhanger. And then it's going to be like, you know how Adele, the singer, she writes an album, she does a tour, then she disappears for a year or longer, and then comes back again. That's what it'd be like. You know, why can't YouTube people be like that too and take a creative break? You know, why should it continue forever? I want to travel to places without a camera, without filming it, and actually remember things rather than not remembering anything for the last 6 years because I'm so focused on filming. That's a huge aspect. What happened with italki? That's too bad. Yeah, it's just disastrous. I mean, it doesn't help that, I mean, Dave as well, most of our people are from Russia. And when, so honestly, with the pandemic, that was a good thing for me because more people were at home, they had more time. That's when I set up my website and it worked really well for me. But when the Russia thing started, immediately all my Ukrainians were gone. They all moved. So obviously their focus was on more important things. And until the mobilization thing, I still had a lot of my Russians. But then when that happened, the remaining ones in Russia were then moving and now they're starting to come back again. But the thing with italki is that it just doesn't work for long-term teachers anymore. It hasn't done for a couple of years. It's the algorithm doesn't promote the older people that have been around for years with all the reviews and thousands of lessons on there. It generally promotes the new people who have no experience, who aren't even professional teachers with a qualification, as Dave and I am. It's just really frustrating. So you do have to look at relying on your long-term people. Fortunately, I have a lot of long-term people who have different aims all the time. You know, they might do their IELTS exam. Now they might be getting their citizenship. So they have different aims that change over time. So that's good. But the other thing is, you know, it's very difficult to promote yourself on other platforms. Like, you know, it's so saturated. YouTube, TikTok, you go on there, endless teachers. Yeah, it's a bit of a shitter. Dawn is going. Bye, Han. Have a good evening. I'm going to go in a minute too. So from the rainy Pacific Northwest of the US, thanks for all your vids from Mexico and beyond. Love your sense of adventure. Non-touristy places usually more real and interesting. Good luck. Thanks, Han. Please tell me you are not going to remove all your videos from YouTube. No, I'm not. They're staying. Your videos are great and definitely need to go back and watch them again when I need my badass fix. Yes, absolutely. They're staying as normal. You'll still be able to leave comments. I might not read them for a year, but yeah, but they're staying. You know, I don't have them saved anywhere else. So after 6 years, like it's a body of work. It's a portfolio. I'm not going to delete them. and actually, I might go back to them now and again. And I did that recently. I randomly watched part of a video from Mexico and I was like, oh, refrigeradores, lavadoras, and all that. I was like, oh, it's coming back to me. Yeah, it's not fair that italki works like that. Exactly. It's a bit like YouTube, you know. The moment you go to a different country, especially if it's a new country, then it's like you're starting from nothing because, you know, Serbia, for example, I'm lucky that I've got an audience in Serbia from years of going back there all the time, just like with Mexico. But Mexico viewers don't watch Serbia videos. Some of them might, but, you know, they very rarely leave comments on those. And equally with Instagram, you know, all the Mexico viewers disappeared as soon as I got to Serbia. It's just the way it is. So that's why it's difficult. That's why YouTube and travel don't work, because you can't go to new countries unless you are happy with starting from nothing every time. Which is why subscriber numbers mean nothing unless I just went to Mexico, stayed in Mexico, did videos about Mexico all the time, then it would be a different matter. But I don't want to do that. Yes, Jane, right. Oh, sexy English. Yes. Do you sound British or American? There's a guy who's German that does these. I mean, why is he doing them? He's German. It's just ridiculous. So excited and a bit sad about the last few videos. Brutalism for life, honey. Teachers, lol. This is an apple. Oh, yes. Do what you love the most. We will be here if you come back. Yes. Gracias, amigo Armando. Yes, I'm sure I'll be back at some point. I just need time to my brain to reprogram. I think you love Mexico. Exactly. Yes, it is the only place that I feel absolutely at home, and where it's somewhere I would absolutely stay if it was easier for me to do. I need to get married to someone and do that thing. As long as I had hot water, water, and what else? Microwave. I don't mind cucarachas. They're fine. They're my crunchy angels. They're quite fine. I do miss the ones in Ciudad Obregón, because once there were two of them, and one of them, I think I put it outside or something, and the other one used to come out like lost looking for its partner, and I was like, oh, sorry. And I read online that they do hang around in pairs, so I'd like broken up a family of cockroaches. Sorry, Hans. But yes, I would. You never know. You might see me in Mexico next year, but just not filming. Well, you will see on my other channel. Yes, your videos are terrific. Thanks, hun. I was thinking someone said something about them being unique. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's that a lot of other channels just copy each other. I can't do that. Just doesn't work. A bit like the honesty thing. I'm not going to stand there and pretend that I'm interested in a museum when it's bollocks. When I don't give two shits about something that's in a glass cabinet. I just can't do it. I'm not going to. And how can people copy people? Like, what fulfillment does that give them? Don't they feel guilty? Like, maybe we were just raised in different ways. Yes. Paul, sorry, just joined. What's your plan after YouTube? So I will probably do a community tab post. So just in summary, so a second channel, which is just drone videos, just a hobby thing. Revisiting my website in terms of blog posts. So I will be doing weekly blog posts on travel and also teaching English. I'm writing a book. Well, planning to. That's going to take a long time. And there are some other things, but I can't remember what they are. I think that's it. But I will do an update. And I'm either moving to Poland or continuing traveling as normal. As yet undecided. That will be revealed in my final video. Have you seen Bohemian Rhapsody? I haven't actually. I haven't seen that. What do you think about the life and work of Freddie Mercury? He kind of reminds me of you. He loved cats too. And he also lived in my hometown, if you saw that video. Although before I was born. So I don't mean London, I mean Felton. I love Queen. My mum loves Queen. A friend of mine, Talia, she was on the X Factor in the UK a few years ago. She's actually good friends with Brian May and Anita Dobson, his wife. So I have connections. And I almost went out with the Sugar Babes once. But one of them was sick or something. I think she was lying. Yes, cannot stand those sugary sweet vloggers telling us everything is amazing. Exactly. Like, what year is it? 2017? Get with the times. Like, no one wants that bullshit. If I see one more, shocked face in Guanajuato, like, why do people think that people want to see that? You've seen it all already. Like, you're not stupid. But people seem to think that is still what people want. And actually, if I went to Mexico now and filmed a video in San Miguel de Allende, it would get about 20 views because it's been done and the algorithm doesn't work that way, which is why Torreon videos do well, because there isn't any competition for those locations. That's why Ujitse normally does well. Maybe not so much this year because there are more videos there now, but like Chachak, Jagodina, those videos did really well. And those are like, ask any Serb, they're like the most random cities that you can ever get. It's like with Torreon, it's the same sort of thing. But because there aren't any other videos about that place, yet people are searching for those places, they do well. Belgrade, don't even bother now. Mexico City, it's a waste of time even getting the camera out because it's been done. Mexico is the only place where I saw you tear up in Jerez. I did a little bit. I was going to say I did, but it's in a way I do because I do tear up in a bit that I filmed in Mexico, which is for the final video. Yes, that will be coming up. That's going to be weird. I've got like longer hair and everything. Yes, there could be a hair change coming soon, by the way, for my final video. I can't wait to do the flashbacks. Like we're going back to before the beginning and also during. Let's just say Corona. There's a clue. What side of your family has Polish roots? My mum's side. So my grandfather was born in, I don't know how to pronounce it. There's two different, because there's the Polish and the Ukrainian, but it's just south of Lviv in Ukraine. And my grandmother was born just to the east of Warsaw. But then they were taken to Siberia during World War II, as many Poles were. Both ended up in the army, and my granddad ended up stationed at a Polish military hospital in Scotland, which is where he then met my grandmother, and that's where my mum was born. Interestingly, and this is really coincidental, think of the Queen and Prince Philip, right? My grandparents married the same year as the Queen and Prince Philip. Their first child, which was a boy, was born the year after, same year as Prince Charles. My mum was then born in 1950, which is the same year as Princess Anne. She then had two younger brothers, the same as Princess Anne. So basically, I'm the royal family. Although I would probably be a minor royal. I probably wouldn't even be in the crown. I'm basically Princess Anne's kids. You haven't seen them, Zara and Philip, I think they're called. Do you play an instrument or sing? I used to play the tenor horn, and then I played the clarinet for 6 years. That was my one main talent my whole life. I would love to start playing the oboe, which shouldn't be horrendously difficult because I played the clarinet for years. Obviously, it's a bit different, but I would love to play an instrument again and join an orchestra. Can't sing. I can actually a little bit, but I'm not going to sing now. I have to say that I started following you not only because you visited my home city, Hermosillo, doggos, but also because you're British and have that charisma that most YouTubers like. Thank you, Ray. Yes, Brits do have a unique humour. I've been watching Philomena Kunk recently. She's hilarious. Google her. That's not her real name. That's the character she plays. And absolutely deadpan hilarious. Oh yes, I did do a DNA reveal video. Yes, I remember because it came out in Spanish, and I didn't know at that point. I didn't know what East was in Spanish, so I was like, Oriental. What's that about? But it was talking about Eastern Europe. Classic. That's when I was staying with the crazy lady in San Luis, who was like Glenn Close from Fatal Attraction. Oh, that went on for a long time. Adam, your channel and content has been really great. Looking forward to the blog going forward. So my website, let me just find the link. It's just my channel name, but with .com. You'll already see on there's a lot of updates, and actually oh crap, what's happened? 1 minute. Oh, there we go. Yeah, can you still hear me? You'll see some updates on there about the new channel. I still might change the name. All right. I like the way you review places. It's real down to earth perspective. Oh, thank you, Armando. I've got to do that tomorrow. I've got to film one here. The weather's been shit the last couple of days. I'm not gonna. I cannot film a wet video again after Serbia last year. What about your father's side? So it's very complicated because so let me think. So my grandparents on one side were Welsh from South Wales. They were coal miners. And what else? But my dad was born in England, so he was born in Surrey, which is where he ended up meeting my mum in 1970. It's like The Crown, isn't it? But basically, so my dad's dad, so my granddad Ronald, he was the love child of his mum and some guy that we don't know. Apparently, he was a lord. So he wasn't really part of that bloodline. So therefore, I'm not part of that bloodline. And really, there's no way of knowing who that person is. So that side of the family is a complete mystery. When I did jury service in 2002, I actually met someone from that branch of the family because they called the surname out. And it was like, oh, so you're an actual Barkham. That's my real surname. But in terms of the DNA test, it came out as Scandinavian, I guess, because of the Vikings, and English. That was it. All the other stuff, Balkan, Baltic, and Polish was obviously all from my mum's side. The Balkan thing, I think it was because where my granddad was born, apparently a load of Croats originally moved there to what is now south of Lviv. But we don't know. Maybe you are the Prince of Wales. Exactly. Yes. Although if I was in the Crown, I wouldn't have turned up because I'd be a minor character. Yes. And weirdly, my in terms of my uncle, so there's my mum and she's got three brothers. Well, one of them's dead now, but it was like she was Anne and one of the others was Charles. The other two, no one really talks about, So it's the same kind of thing. Right, so I'm going to go. My throat is hurting and I want to watch the last episode of The Crown, actually. Brilliant. And have a cigarette. So thanks for coming. I'll continue following you regardless of your new projects. I love traveling videos because they really encourage me to work hard to travel to a new place at least once in my lifetime. And I'll still be on Instagram. I don't know in what capacity, but I'm still on my regular Instagram at the moment. Yes, and I'm filming in Sofia tomorrow, pending the weather. And I'm going to a really cool museum. And if you saw the Mexico videos, I hate museums, but this one's a little bit different. Let's just say 1980s communism. I'm in the Balkans, Paul. I'm in Bulgaria. But I know what you mean. Yeah, I will be back in Serbia. Did I mention about Niche earlier? I might be back in Niche at some point. Hasta luego, amigos. Yeah, Serbia, Balkans. Classic. Okay, catch you later. Have a good Saturday night, innit? Have a good one. Why isn't it stopping? End stream. Oh, it's doing it now. Brilliant. Goodbye.